Hi creative friend, it's Jane from Sustain My Craft Habit, and today I'm looking forward to sharing with you how we installed this beautiful new Allure ISOCORE vinyl plank flooring from the Home Depot, Canada. So come on in and let's get started. So we're getting ready to install our ISOCORE panels, and you can see here that it's got the vinyl finish on one side and there is the underpad is already built in. And this is one of the reasons why I selected this particular floor. As I'll show you in a second, we're going to be installing the floor right over the existing ceramic tile, which I didn't want to have to take out. We have a very limited amount of time to do our bathroom renovation and only on a couple weekends here and there. So that would have been a lot of extra work to have to take out the entire floor. Also, the Allure ISOCORE is waterproof, which makes it really good for a bathroom or a basement, and it's click-lock installation. So it should be pretty quick to go. The panels are quite large, as you can see. They're 16 inches by 32 inches, so it shouldn't take too many rows to complete this particular small room project. Okay, so as I mentioned, we'll be installing the Allure ISOCORE right onto our ceramic tiles. They're actually quite nice. It's just that in the summer when there's a lot of humidity in the air and it's warm, the condensation develops on the tiles and it starts to sweat and it gets slippery. So I really wanted a solution for that. I didn't want to reinstall tile again because it's directly on our concrete foundation. So this is why the panels really seem like a great solution. The idea is that the temperature of the panels will remain closer to what the air is so that you won't have the problem of condensation on them. However, I will be laying down just a simple vapor barrier plastic sheet to mitigate any moisture transfer. And you want to just be sure to read the instructions in the packaging to ensure that you do the proper preparation as needed. So other than that, there's actually very little preparation. We just swept and cleaned the floor. Because our grout lines are quite narrow and shallow and the surface is quite smooth, we don't really need to do any prep work. If you have grout lines that are wider than about 1/8 of an inch or deeper than that, then you want to fill them with cementatious grout to make sure that the panels have a nice smooth surface to rest on to prevent any warping of the panels over time. The only other thing is that this floor, the Allure ISOCORE, goes on after you've installed the shower and toilet and vanities, and you'll work around. We're going to be leaving a little bit of a gap for expansion, about a 1/4 inch gap all around the outer surfaces, which we'll show you how to do. And otherwise, we are ready to get going. Okay, so we started by laying down a sheet of 6mm poly vapor barrier, and we've just laid out a few of the tiles to see how they're going to space in the room. What you want to avoid is having any of the strips be less than 8 inches. So the panels are 16 inches wide, so you want to pre-plan a little bit. So we're okay here. Also, the other thing you want to look out for is that when the tiles are laid down, that they don't fall right along the groove, because then there's a chance of when you step on it later, and if your grout lines are deep from underneath, then it could come apart quick. So those are the main things, and then we will be doing a bit of a staggered pattern as we go along. Okay, each tile has a tongue and a groove that's gonna lock together. So we are starting on the end by the door and working towards the window, and the tongue side is going to go against the wall. We're going to place spacers about 1/4 of an inch away from the wall We actually have a lot of kind of wiggle room in here, so we are okay. We will be lining up our tiles against the existing tile along the wall, but otherwise you should put in a 1/4 inch spacer.
We're all ready to start installing the tiles. The first one by the door is going to be one full piece, and we've had to just cut a little bit to go around the door jamb. And now the second tile is just going to be clicked into place. Now at the end of the row, we're carefully measuring and marking the next tile to go. Just make sure that you are measuring from the right end, which is corresponding to the tongue or groove of the piece that you need to join to. For the straight line cuts, you can use a straight edge as well as a utility knife to cut and score both sides of the tile, and then they will snap apart. The second row is ready to go. We just made sure not to put another complete tile here, but rather a shorter one. I think it was 13 inches to stagger how the tiles end up.
Okay, since there's so much variation in the patterns of the tiles, every time we add a new one, I've been kind of experimenting with a few different tiles to see which one fits best for the pattern so that the transitions don't look as jarring. So you may want to do that as well. It's probably not so important if you're doing like a big space, but because this room is so small and all the focus is in this area, I'm taking that little bit of extra care to do that.
Yeah, this is going to have to be caulked.
Let's cut some custom piece now. We've gotten to this trickier part now around the toilet and where the shower joins, but we managed to cut this piece on an angle with a table saw. So now we've measured out and cut the corner here where it goes underneath the vanity, but now we need to cut out where the toilet is going to go. Okay, because we had taken the toilet out, we have it, and hubby made a template, just traced it out onto a piece of cardboard. So now he's able to use that template he cut out to mark around the piece of flooring, the tile, and that's what we'll use to cut.
So while the toilet template idea was good in theory, for some reason it didn't line up in practice. So we ended up cutting out just the circle for the toilet drain first, laying down all the tiles, putting the toilet back on temporarily, and then using that to trace out the shape.
Okay, it's the moment of truth to see whether the toilet will fit in there properly. I think it'll work. All right, the toilet is on and it's looking pretty good. We've got a gap there for a bit of expansion that we'll put some caulking around there and around the shower here.
Right.
Right. Thanks, Dad. Okay, so our beautiful new Allure ISOCORE flooring is in place. I think it looks lovely in this coastal inspired bathroom, and invite you to check out the entire tour of the completed room in another video, which we've linked to below. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks, bye!